Yes, and there's David. All right. Hello, David. Come on in. Let's see what we got here. View request. Go live. All right. Hello, Charlie. How are you today?
Hey,
David Meltzer. How are you today, my friend?
I'm much better now that I see you.
I apologize. I had a bit of a connection problem, so I had to turn the Wi-Fi off and just go directly to the network. But we're here. We're in.
Yeah, we should come up with a term for Instagram technological mishaps. We should come up with our own term and phrase it, and people know us by like I had the insta fluke or something.
We'll figure it out. I have, so I have a couple questions today, David, and we're going to end with what you're familiar with. I want to talk about appreciation and gratitude and why that's important. However, you talk about that all the time, and I'd like to ask you a few other questions because I'm curious about a few things that don't normally show up in interviews that I have seen, and it makes me curious. So I hope you can play along with us today, David.
I love this. This is awesome. Yes.
All right. So, why Instagram? You go live every morning on Instagram, at least most mornings. I see it all the time. I've incorporated more interviews. I do one a week. This week will be two with you. But I'm also thinking about adding a few more because I do enjoy them. They are fun. What is it about Instagram for you that you decided to go live so much?
I'm looking for platforms that I can leverage my own capability. And so, for example, my capabilities don't lend themselves to TikTok. I could take off my shirt and be a dancing bear and it might be better, but what the platforms that I do the best on and can help the most people with is what I call hot seat coaching. And so my superpowers and capabilities lend themselves to being very quick because unlike most people online, I'm old and I have a bunch of dummy tacks that I can share with people and situational knowledge. And I also am a middle child. So I love attention and Instagram Live gives me instant attention. And I also grew up with 6 kids, so I hate being alone. And with this remote working, I'm like, are you kidding me? There's a way that I could get like all these cool people to join me every day and they can be on the hot seat and ask and I can learn. So everything about it, the Instagram Lives especially, is a platform that's not only suited to my capabilities, but also suited to my ego and the fears that I have in order to fulfill the loneliness and the middle child syndrome.
I love it. When the pandemic first hit, I went live every morning, every weekday morning for 6 months, and I did it for two reasons. One, I was stuck in my apartment in Hollywood with nobody there except me and my cactus, and I wanted to talk to people. And we were in this historical moment, and I didn't have anyone to share it with, so I decided to go live. But also, there was a side effect of that I wanted to just get more comfortable being on camera because in today's world, with the technology that we have, in order to be able to reach the most people and help the most people, you're going to have to get comfortable being on camera, being silly, uh, uh, being quick, and running with it. And I figured going live every morning would do the trick. And I didn't care whether I had material or not. So I had gotten comfortable with doing a 30-minute monologue every morning. Sometimes I had people pop on. Sometimes I just went for it. Now you can imagine talking every day for 6 months for 30 minutes in the morning. I got myself in trouble a couple of times. That's just the kind of world that we live in. But I had a lot of fun doing it. And now when my marketing team goes, hey, can you shoot us a quick video? Or AJ's like, hey, can you do this? No problem. It's like, I'm like, oh, I already been live 3 times today. I don't care. Because here's the thing that I noticed when we're doing these videos, if you're not used to it, this video image can almost act as if a mirror, but it's a funhouse mirror, and it sort of distorts your perception, and you're staring at yourself and somebody else. I try to stare at you and not my own picture, but it is distracting, it is difficult, and it can freak you out.
Yeah, you know what freaked me out the most, and it still did today, because I had someone that wasn't happy and wanted to commit suicide, and you get these comments, and I'm a flow person, so I like to channel. Sometimes I don't even remember what I say. I like to go back and watch it myself to see what I've channeled down. But every once in a while, I'll go from looking at you to the comments, and something will throw me off, and it's just so, to me, it's enlightening in the respect that, how can I refocus quickly, shift my emotions? I do a milesgram with my 10-year-old on Sundays, and people are rude sometimes. And now you're playing with your emotions, like you say, you get yourself in trouble. I have and worked on radical humility for myself, but like any parent, I'm very protective of my child. And so if someone says something offensive to a 10-year-old boy, I have to refocus really quickly and not get defensive and not get protective and just allow it to not get any energy. That's the most difficult thing for me on the Instagram Live is, I want to stay in the flow. I want to stay positive, and I don't want anyone to be able to throw me off with dumb comments or negativity.
And it's funny. We've learned to push those negative comments aside, but I don't care who you are. They have an effect. They have a way of boring. Every once in a while, one will get stuck in your brain, and it will have an effect on the rest of your day if you allow it. And you have to build up some tools and some skills to sort of bob and weave from those comments sticking.
No doubt. And I wrote about it in my first book, Cancel, Clear, Connect. I just stated a pragmatic way. I'll say it out loud. Like, I'll look at a comment and just say cancel. Because I don't want it to enter the conscious continuum, my computer system of conscious, subconscious, and unconscious behavior. And because it'll start formulating, neural pathways, which are like imagine your brain in the morning is like this beautiful snow. and if you keep seeing and thinking the same things, now you got a trail on that beautiful mountain. And if that trail is not a positive trail, you're screwed, because now it's going to be when you sleep and when you wake up, and it's going to, like you said, eke its way in there somehow. And now when you're trying to do the best you can to live your potential, you're creating interference with this dumb negative comment that somebody said at 8 a.m.
Absolutely. The other thing that I have learned to enjoy Instagram about is all the hearts. When I first started doing it and started getting actually people to watch it and tune in, people started giving me hearts. And I realized that the hearts and Instagram had turned me into a circus animal where I was performing for hearts. But it's all in good fun. They've done a good job in making the platform and its technology a lot of fun and addictive. I like going live, and as we all know, it's a great way to help out as many people as possible. My next question for you, David, is, have you always been such a great sloganeer?
A sloganeer meaning my one-liners? Is that
well, there's the one-liners, there's the life, love, and lessons in the suck. Yeah. You've always managed to put things in sloganeer ways, but also in a very and poetic gestures as well, that obviously, once again, they are the earworm. You hear them and they stick. And in fact, I don't know if I picked this up for you or this was something that influenced me because I had talked to you, which is, I do this thing now, which is inspiration, aspiration, and motivation all stems from beauty and beauty over utility. And if you want inspiration, motivation, and inspiration, place yourself in beauty. And I tell a lot of young people that if they need motivation or they feel that they're not inspired, then they don't have enough beauty in their life.
I love that. And yes, I have been a lessons and stories person. And so I think the lessons become slogans, you know, and I have incorporated stories to teach people. And even within the context of my books, that's how I write them. It's, you know, game time decision making. I wanted 10 lessons to be happy, but I knew if I came out like that, I'd end up being in the woo-woo world thought leader genre. And I know how powerful sports are because I have that experience. So what I did is, you know, created a pre-game analysis that was a sports way of telling you a lesson to be happy, using these slogans, stories, and lessons. Then I had like sports stories to illustrate what I was teaching. Then I did a post-game analysis to basically repeat what I wanted you to learn. But once again, as a backdrop, I use sports the same way you use music, for example. I think that people, especially on Instagram Live or Clubhouse or other places, it's okay to have a backdrop. I built that off of my original sports career. You know, Jerry Maguire, people think is a sports film. And, you know, albeit I get too much credit for a movie I was never in, and Lee Steinberg, it was based off of him. I was just the CEO of the company, but it's a backdrop to a love story, right? The
Yeah.
sports it's a great love story. It's a well-written script that has a lot of slogans, one-liners, right? And so I think,
Yes, it does.
you know, you have me at hello, I'm great in the liver.
Show me the money, all the whole work.
Exactly. So I had kind of picked up, I think, a little bit from Cameron Crowe years ago, how important it is. And we give people too much credit for learning. And I started with myself. You know, here I thought I was a hyper intellect, somebody that had a fine capability of memorizing things. And I started to realize that life was about these lessons and slogans. And I forgot every single, like, start with my basics, which, you know, you wanted to end with: gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. I can't tell you how many days I forget to implement gratitude, like that lesson. And, you know, I now have it down to minutes and moments that I forget it, but I have the power to access every lesson I've ever learned, and even lessons I haven't. And I found that slogans and lessons and stories are the best way to resonate with the most amount of people, so that people, you know, don't know Dave Meltzer. It's make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. You know, these little slogans: be more interested than interesting, be kind to your future self, do good deeds. And even listing out fears, right? I that became a slogan to me, right? So what's the primary fears, the Freudian fears, the secondary fears: the need to be right, offended, separated, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry. That's actually a slogan to me now because I've said it so many times.
Oh, I love it. And, you know, when I was a young lad and my dad was teaching me about money and quarters and 25, 50, 75 dollar, we learned those rhymes and those sayings and the patterns that allowed us to remember those things. My dad had us jumping rope. So it's 25, 50, and it has stuck with me to this day. And but that's how our mind works. And yet we are so capable of such complexity when it comes to what our brains can do. But yet, and in learning, a lot of it comes from these phrases, repetition. Think about the profound effect that music has on all of us and what music is composed of. And certainly, and as a musician, there are time signatures that will freak you out. But that's not the stuff that gets asses moving in the ballroom. It's the 4/4 beat, right? It's the 4 on the floor that is hypnotic and that moves you, and then you can place anything within that framework, and it's going to stick because our brains, yet capable of such complexity, are rooted in such simplicity.
You're so right. And I think it's so important to have the repetition of the simplicity in order to open the mind. One of the things that I'm studying most right now that has changed my entire journey is to simplify things to the respect that I qualify things by open-mindedness. So I have found that getting hyper detailed and hyper technical and trying, especially in sales, which is one of, you know, the things that I claim to be an expert at. I'm really an expert only because I've been in it so long and made so many mistakes that I have a lot of lessons. But moreover, what I realized was, instead of looking for, you know, the exact person that's the lowest hanging fruit, which I spent a lot of my career doing, I literally put out there to find an open mind. and then use them as a sponsor or power sponsor. So just be able to find someone that's willing to help, that has an open mind, and say, hey, do you know anyone that can help me? Especially today with social media and the ability to connect to people. When we were young, you know, we were lucky, you know, when your dad had you jumping rope and saying 25, 30 cents, 50 cents, etc. We were lucky if they had 2 or 3 friends that could hook us up, right? There was a golf game, a card game, a church group. You know, they would, oh, I'll try to help, son. You know, I think so-and-so that I play golf with may know somebody. Dude, my 10-year-old has 1,000 people that he knows that he can, you know, help him. It's so true. So find open minds. You know, this idea of finding and surrounding yourself with people with like minds or even higher vibrating minds is so important. But this idea of finding them is a simple thought, is a lower vibration. It's a 4-beat that allows you to then find these highly complex, aligned, you know, like you said, symphonic, you know, orchestrative things that have multiple parts and pieces that hardly any of us can understand. I always say about 13% of the people vibrate at a frequency that could even, you know, receive that. And if we realize that, it's okay to do the 4-beat for everyone and then work our way up to these really enjoyable, complex, you know, expertise types of things that we're capable of doing.
I think the technology that we have allows us to do that. We're allowed to enter into the 4 on the floor beat, or maybe a simple idea that you've heard. But we have the technology now that we can explore those very things. So I may have found this artist through a simple 4 on the floor beat, but now I'm in their fringes of their work, hearing their most complex stuff that only the people that are most inclined to want to participate in will be able to find. But yet, it is there if you decide to go down that road. And something you said about sales and how you approach that, you were talking about sales that you claim to be an expert in, but it's only because you failed so much. You know, when people talk to AJ and myself about being social skills experts or mindset experts or whatever,
or an icon.
Yes, I say I wouldn't know about that. However, I have spent the last 20 years studying it, so I can speak from that place. There's a way to feel confident in the work and what you can do without having to blow it up and put lights up and say, I'm an expert in this field, right? That people will expect. And I think that you, the way you set up with sales was beautiful. It's like, well, you know, I don't know what an expert is, and there's always something learned. However, I certainly have made more mistakes in this area than anywhere else in life, but I can certainly tell you what not to do. And guess what? I want that information. I don't want to waste my time having to learn things that you have already learned probably 5 times over. So what are they, right?
Right. And I think in sales it's so much fun because what's really one of the expertise that you want someone that's been rejected the most. You want someone that has gotten the no answer more than anyone else because they can tell you why, and you can avoid getting resistance, shortages, and obstacles in your sales process. And I think, you know, starting at a young age with a face like this, I got no a lot because I was brave enough to ask for dates, you know, at a young age. So I always joked around, but I said, thank goodness I wasn't extremely good looking because I never would have been a good salesperson. You know, it was the ability. And I will tell you, I got to share this because I'm a stories person. My first job, which I made $1 million in my first 9 months, there was a vice president, Lou Lombardi, and I was supposed to have 4 years of legal experience to get the sales job, like a doctor who sells medical equipment. But I was still in law school, and he was so impressed with my sales ability, my natural ability. He said, why should I hire you? And I said, you know, because I'll guarantee my success. If I'm not in the top half, don't pay me. And I want the chance. And he said, do you have a picture of your girlfriend? And back then, we used to carry pictures of our girlfriends, right, in a little snapshot in our wallet. So I take it out. He looks at it, and he says, you're hired. I'm not lying. He looked at it, and he said, you're hired. I said, I'm hired? Why? I said, because she's so pretty? He said, no, because you're so ugly. He said, if a guy like you can get a girl like this, you can sell anything.
You can sell anything.
That's true. I'm old, but that is a true story. Later on in his career, HR had to be in all of those types of meetings as the world changed.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of which, I think you and I connected last time we talked. It was we were discussing the Steve Herz book, which was about
Don't
you
take
don't
yes for
hear
an
no
answer.
anymore.
Yeah.
No, people, first of all, they avoid it. They avoid hearing it, and people avoid saying it to people, to the detriment of our society and our civilization. Every time that you don't tell somebody who deserves a no, you're weakening their resolve.
Oh my god, and wasting their time. You're
Ah,
wasting here's like I have a 3 no rule, which says on the third no, and the no to me is very broad. It could be you forgot to call me. That's one no. So no to me is it not working out the way I want. So on the third no, I tell someone, hey, I appreciate your time. I got people that do want to engage with me. If you're ready, call me back and let's engage. If not, I appreciate your time. 50% of the people, it accelerates the yes. I always say it accelerates the people that we're going to say yes, and they call you back. But even more importantly than acceleration of someone who's already going to say yes, it forces the person to say no, because 50% of the people never call you back, and they just saved you so much time, money, emotion, and energy. It's well worth. I would rather someone tell me no than accelerate the yeses all day long.
oh, absolutely. 100%. The other thing is, in business, there's going to be people will go out of their way to say no. And a lot of people know that. And there are people who are brave enough to chase that. They will get what they want in life because they know a lot of people just won't say no. So they'll just walk in, demand stuff, and they'll get it. And it's those people who are able to exploit maybe the politeness of our society for their own gains. And some could say, well, they're exploiting that bug, or are they exploiting the feature, right? I guess that goes back to what is the intent that you're looking to do. But just because you have a better working of the mentality of the people around you doesn't make you evil. It makes you smart. It makes you capable. It is your intent that makes you evil.
Yeah, of course. And if you're an abundant person, there's 3 worlds. If you're, manipulating or milking somebody because you understand the psychology or the sociological economic way that we work for the benefit of victimizing people, right, in a world of not enough, or even in a world of just enough for you, a manipulated, scarce world where everything is a negotiation. But if you do it in an abundant way and you believe truly the intent of everything comes through me for others, then I'm motivated to maximize the flow. Like one of my great intents of the world is to live in a world of more than enough of everything for everyone. So if I ask, I'm asking not only with the capability of articulating greater value than I'm asking for and then providing it, but even moreover, carrying an energy that I'm worthy of all that I receive, because I'm just here to appreciate what I receive, meaning add value to what I receive and give it away, including the dummy tax, like we stated before, including the experiences where things didn't go the way that I wanted them to go. How do I make that into a truly valuable situation? By appreciating it and giving it away to others.
So there was something right there that I want to dial into, and we'll center this conversation around that, and then we'll go into the appreciation bit, which is, if you give everything away for free, then you deserve everything that you get, because you've already shown your value to how many people and changed their lives. So all the feedback that you get from that, oh, David, you changed my life. Oh, David, this slogan really helped me out. I remembered it at the right time. Oh, David, thank you so much for white pilling me today and giving me hope. Well, that makes it very easy for you to walk into the deal or the next phase of life and say, here's what I want, because here's what I've already given. And I think if people change their focus to what can I give rather than what can I get out of this, they will find more self-worth for themselves and they will get more for themselves.
Yeah, and if you're motivated to receive so you can give, it's even a greater nuance to what I've learned in the energy of worthiness and the biggest challenge that most people have. There's four whats that we take every day, right? What do I want personally? What do I want to experience? What do I want to give or produce? And then what do I want to receive? And the biggest one that people have problems with is what do I want to receive? They somehow have interferences, void, shortage, guilt, resentment, offense, separateness, inferior or superior feelings, which just stops the flow. It stops everybody from receiving.
Yes.
You can't give what you don't have. So this was a major shift in my own perspective and paradigm because I was always trading giving to receive. Once I realized I'm in this abundant world that it's my obligation to receive as much as I can because I'm giving it away. And that allowed me to articulate value, to provide value, to manage and develop vision, all the different technological and pragmatic things that I implement in my life to effectuate what? One thing, value. The more you provide value, the more you're going to provide happiness and abundance.
I think that is a frame that those who want to make money online need to grasp. Guys like Gary Vee, such as yourself, Tony Robbins, what we're doing at the Art of Charm. I remember when the first marketer we worked with said, give me your best stuff. We're going to put it out there. And my knee-jerk reaction as a young man was, why are we going to give my best stuff away? But the reality is you're going to give it all away. And everything that we talk about at the Art of Charm, all of our trainings, it's on our Instagram, it's in our YouTube channel, it's in our podcast, because by people understanding these ideas and these tools, they get to unlock powers that are already within themselves to achieve what they want in life. All they have to do is engage. You engage with this material, you unlock the stuff. Now, we can make money on trainings and mentorships and complete other things as we help you with this. But you understanding and unlocking these tools makes society better. You make yourself better by unlocking this. The people around you see what you're capable of. They start poking around. They start unlocking this. And next thing you know, it is those small ripple effects through society that open up all these opportunities for everyone to create abundance for everybody. If we all go into the world with our cards at our chest, well, then we make everybody around us distrustful.
Yeah, the scarcity is just an unbelievable energy that pervades so much beyond your mindset even. It actually pervades or invades your heart set of how we feel about things. And you had said that originally when you were kind of creating a new abundant world of giving away your best stuff, it was a feeling. This was a primal fear of, oh my God, there's not enough for me to eat if I give away my food. No, there's actually more food for you when you give away your food because more people eat and they're stronger and they can help you hunt. And then there's more or gather or whatever it may be. And we just have this mindset that we can get through, but then you got to go to the heart set and then to institute it through discipline and strategy and the conscious continuum of, okay, your mindset is straight, your heart set is straight, but what are you going to do? And that's where John Astroff's been a great help for me, the law of Goya. Right? When you get the mindset of get off your ass, man. Don't just sit around high on your mom's couch dreaming about what you want with a positive mindset and heart set, feeling good, but actually do something. And so I'm a big Goya guy. I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. ready to go to get off my ass and make things happen and to provide value and appreciation to others.
Oh, I love it. So David, I know you're quite busy and I appreciate you coming on today. I want to end with today of how would you feel about talking about 5 reasons why people should adopt an appreciation or gratitude practice? How does that work for you? Think you can figure out a way to do that?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. And it's interesting. So number one, gratitude provides perspective. That's the number one reason. And that means that it's more than just the glass half full. It's the glass is overflowing. That's an abundant perspective. And then gratitude as well brings light to everything. And one particle of light overcomes millions of particles of darkness. What do I mean by that? If you can take the difficult situations, the challenges, etc., and find the superpower in the people, places, and things that are happening in your life, because they're there. Sometimes they're overshadowed by a million particles of darkness, but if you can find the light through gratitude, by saying thank you, what would I be thankful for in this situation? And you have to understand time, because you have to be patient enough to know, in the present, this doesn't look like it's a good thing for me, but how can it be 10 years from now or 50 years from now? And I have things, I'm old enough now that have long lasted in gratitude, the wherewithal of time. And then the third one would be these lessons. I think crucial to gratitude is learning. Those people that are grateful for everything are learned. They're growing, expanding, accelerating, etc. And then 4, to me, is just programming. If you can say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up, you'll literally program yourself to have these aspects. And I think as a discipline, gratitude is one of the great catalysts to have consistent, persistent behavior. And then finally, number 5 is simply the truth. When we're grateful, we're pursuing our truth. And it's an active behavior that allows us to see things in their truth, which allows us to vibrate faster, raise our awareness, and allow things to become, not to pull us back in, to everything be the 4 beats on the floor. Everything becomes simple. When you raise your awareness, even buying and selling things, friendships, relationships, intimate relationships, all become very simple. My marriage has changed simply because of gratitude, because all the shit that used to annoy me about my wife, I now find unbelievably cute, adorable, funny. And it's just right up here, this gratitude of, I'm so lucky to have this person in my life. And why am I allowing the fact that she leaves her shit all over my floor and I'm OCD to ruin my marriage? Anyway, I got to jump, my friend. This has been amazing.
Well, thank you, David. I really appreciate it. It's great to talk to you and see you again. And you have a wonderful day and week.
You are the art of charm. Come, let's do this more often, okay?
Oh, would love to. Cheers.
Thank you, brother. Take care. Got to exit, yeah. Mine doesn't have the exit.